Israel good, Tucker bad. Sending your tax money to Israel, good. Listening to Tucker, bad. You dying in war for Israel, good. Tucker podcast, bad. Daily Wire subscription, good. Everything else, bad. Oh, you like Jordan Peterson? Pay me a subscription, bitch. Israel, 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 good. America, not so much. Israel first, good. America first, not so good. Annoying voice, Ben Shapiro, good. Annoying laugh, Tucker Carlson, bad. Shalom, bitches. Please subscribe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. We had the readout stream beforehand, plus it's the Christmas season, so I thought it'd be very, very appropriate to start out with a banger Christmas song, not a degenerate, materialist Christian Christmas song, but a real Christmas song. But before we get into the former disgraced Church of Satan member Karl burning everything that he touches, literally and figuratively, almost like there's something satanic about it, we have Glow So Bright, James Richard, and making his first appearance on the show, Wubba Bubba. How is everybody's night going tonight?
Yeah, doing great.
Doing all right.
Heck yeah.
John, sorry to keep you so late at the Redoubt show.
No,
I guess I can take the blame for being late.
No Richard. It's not Richard's fault tonight. It's James' fault tonight for being late. As one of my kids tries to make a break for the door before my wife just grabs him away. But Wubba, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, since you've never been here before, so people who aren't familiar with you can at least know what they're getting into, so to speak.
Okay, I'm Wubba Bubba. I have I make gun videos disguised as video game videos. I'm a mixture of. It's if Leafy put a little bit more effort into his content.
Hey
That's
guys,
basically how I describe myself. I usually focus more on subreddits, gun subreddits, or maybe talking about some gun control. But probably most people know me is from my r/liberal gun owners video, where the subject
guys,
matter, they were not fans of it. They were not fans of it whatsoever.
No way.
And,
Liberal gun owners not being a fan of somebody's critique of their platform? That's wild.
And I was pretty nice. I was actually pretty nice. I could have been way meaner, and they did not take kindly to that video. So yeah, it's good to be on.
Yeah, happy to have you on, man. I think it'll be a good addition for the night. You guys play video games much? You guys excited for a certain game coming up? They know that
Half-Life
GTA
3?
Yeah, Half-Life 3 about to launch any day now. Don't worry, I'm sure. But this is funny. GTA 6 will feature pride parades and queer representation, which I know is what all of I know this is what all of you guys were wanting. You know, this is why they had to delay it to 2026, late 2026. And I'm sure some of you gentlemen who have pre-ordered this game will not be eagerly driving your semi-truck of peace through the local pride parades in downtown Florida or wherever it happens to be. And I'm sure the clips and the shorts and the reels of people doing that to great effect will not go viral on social media when that eventually happens.
Yeah, whose sides are the creators on?
I mean Postal 2 did that 20 years ago. It's not anything innovative.
No, but it's just going to be funny. And, you know, in this in the current climate that we're in, people are going to be you know, a little polarized, and so some people are going to be, oh, this is the woke left striking back at video games. They're taking over our spaces. And for some people, it's going to be like, I got to run over gay people in GTA 6. Heck yeah.
I wonder what the Middle Eastern version would look like.
Yeah, you know, there's always certain features cut out for certain games. Now, did you know though? I think it might have already happened or it's happening later on, but in YouTube's next monetization update, you're actually not allowed to show mass casualty events in video games. Like, it is not a monetizable feature in video games.
That's going to kill a lot of the Hitman Let's Plays, because if you make one mistake, you're going to be killing a bunch of guards. That is a fucking terrible choice.
Like kill streak on Call of Duty or something.
No, got it. Gotta do no
well,
Russian
it's specifically about like no Russian type things. So like civilians and whatnot, which every GTA 5 game just turns into killing as many civilians as possible in the shortest amount of time frame, right? So, or any RPG, like even Starfield, you can run around and just start fights with everybody and just kill everyone if you wanted to.
Isn't that kind of the point?
Yeah, no more fun, James.
That's right. I need some advice here. So I'm trying to decide whether to take advantage of some Black Friday deals and get a either an Xbox or a PS5, or get kind of the latest and greatest playing system. I'm not much of a gamer, but I do enjoy games on occasion. Are any of the new like Warzone-like games any good? Like Battlefield came out with their own version of Warzone. I enjoyed Warzone back in, 2020 when everyone was inside for COVID, and I made a little foray into gaming just with a few friends. Is there anything good enough to merit buying a new system right now, or is it all kind of crappy?
Portability with Steam Deck.
No, I mean, unless you travel a lot, I would not recommend getting something like a Steam Deck, just because they're annoying to deal with. Because if you really want a game,
Steam Decks.
If you really want a game, a cheap laptop, like you can get a 4060 laptop for like $750 right now, and that'll kind of do what you need it to do, and that's kind of portable as well. And if all you want to do is play first-person shooter games, that sort of stuff. Are you a mouse and keyboard player, or are you a controller player?
No, I mean, probably a controller. Like, basically, I'm looking at just trying to decide whether to get a PS5 is mostly what I'm looking at right now.
I mean, if they have a good deal on it, why not?
Yeah.
I have a Lenovo gaming laptop, and it allows you to plug the controllers in, so I can use a controller on PC.
Yeah, no, because you're special and you don't want to learn how to play mouse and keyboard. Dude, some people like I grew up never playing mouse and keyboard. So when I switched in college to playing mouse and keyboard, it was very strange because I'd always just played Xbox. Yeah, started on the Nintendo 64, right. Xbox 360, Xbox One, all the way through. And then as soon as I got a PC and went to mouse and keyboard, like I never looked back. But if you don't want to learn how to play mouse and keyboard
people have a significant advantage when it comes to online play.
Yeah, they're autistic.
Yeah, there are many keys at your disposal, and I always hit them. I think I have 9 keys on my my mouse, and one of them makes me leave whatever tab that I'm in. And so if I accidentally click it, I leave the stream, which is quite funny when that has happened several times. But speaking of gay diverse representation, you guys remember Q, right, with their some would say overpriced lifestyle-ish products. Kevin Brittingham is a interesting individual. Famously, the Q Sugar Weasel has the lowest score on the Golden Web burn down, where I think it made it 240 rounds before the gas tube melted, which is about half of what the Bear Creek Arsenal and some of the other El Cheapo builds made it to. Now on their social media, or I'll read this out from Golden Web. That's funny. It's not the response I received. That's not the response I received, but the response Went received when questioning about what happened to it. Wonder why Q fixed my upper and sent it back to me after having to replace the gas block, assembly, barrel, cherry bomb, and gas rings. Interesting to see how they talk to your face versus other customers. So of course, Q took care of Golden Web when it came to fixing his upper receiver, which the gas tube completely melted on and just became inoperable with, again, about 240 rounds. And they were very nice to his face. But then when another customer asks about it, they say it's a gay test, full auto lower, straight full auto, upper receiver test, mil spec gas tube failed. It's the correct thing to fail, 25% beyond an M4 requirement. And that is with a more realistic filing schedule. Meltdown is clickbait for retards. So not being particularly nice to Golden Web's testing. Now, I do think that full auto meltdowns are fun and they're purely for entertainment value. But if your gas tube is melting in the first couple hundred rounds where no other cheap manufacturer has had any issues up until like 300, 400, 500, 600 rounds in some cases, it's just yeah, it's a little bit of a cope. Maybe you just shouldn't be using garbage parts in your product. Your very expensive product, by the way, as well.
Yeah, as a general rule, if you're involved in customer service and you're working with people that are making videos about your product, you should be a little bit nicer to them. It's just, it never works out very well.
All right. Well, quick little. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, it seems like recently I've seen a lot of quality. Like I've known a couple people who have had to go through some quality control shit. It seems like it's real. Fuck, I'm fucking up my words. There is a certain not disposition. Fuck. Okay, 1 second.
You'll get it. I believe in you.
Okay, I can do this. Okay, just recently I've dealt with like quality control of like my Heritage. It just fucking broke, and it's just I wanted to get a cylinder spring for it. I think it's the cylinder spring, not the cylinder spring. It's in the grip, but it's just they just ghosted me, and it's a brand new Heritage Rough Rider, and there's just nothing wrong with it. And it's been sitting in my thing for 2 years, and I just when it comes to like. I wonder if I should just flaunt my hey, my 12K, my 16K subscribers. Might be something to it.
You could always see it. It does seem that certain companies know if you have a reputation, how much they care about what you say or not.
It's when it comes to like, I'm just surprised with Q because I have not followed Q or anything about because I can't even afford that shit. That they're kind of treating the customers like shit just because they don't have a namesake for them. It just kind of bugs me. So that's why I've always kind of been a little shoddy when it comes to like reviewers. Oh, the quality control and the team behind them. Oh, they got to me quick. Well, when you got the review rifle or whatever. If that makes complete sense. I just, with shit like that, kind of just pisses me off that people are kind of getting like shit on just because they don't have a name to them.
Some brands are not particularly known for quality control. Heritage is like an old company, and so I don't know if they're really up with the times in terms of how they should be dealing with people in the modern age.
Obviously not, because they can't send me a $3 spring.
Their flagship product is like the cheapest single 22 caliber revolver you can get in the current market, and I think Ruger has beaten out with a Wrangler, which a zinc polymer pistol, single action army pistol, but it actually has good quality control and quality assurance behind it.
I should have went with a Ruger Wrangler. I just knew it, but I was sweetened a deal at my local pawn store. I should have just went with the Wrangler.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I'm not into the Rough Rider genre of firearms, whatever it might be. Those 22 ancient looking things, you know, to look like repros, and they're really cheap. It's just not my genre of firearms.
I mean, I have an old like West German like Colt single action army copy, 22 caliber, and you can actually drop in Colt parts to replace it, so it's not completely junk, even though it keyholes.
Oh, even though it keyholes, that
Yeah.
sounds like complete junk
Oh
to
my
me, bro.
Yeah, from the 1960s, from zinc.
Didn't they make a 16-inch Rough Rider revolver? What was the point of that?
They did.
It's the rifle, bro. You mean
to,
rifle?
so you can like pull off the
No,
the Joker joke at
I've
a
seen-
discount. Where
Yeah.
you just pull it from
I've
your
seen
pants and
the
have this,
I've
like,
seen a
ridiculous
Rough
long
Rider with
barrel.
a long barrel without a stock.
Oh yeah.
It's the gun they have in
What's-
Joker. Like
what's
in
wrong
the
with
Batman
this?
movie. Yeah.
What's wrong with this?
Totally
This
practical.
is practical
Yeah.
home defense.
That's
This is
home
technically practical home defense rifle. It would be funny for a gag. Like I would own one of these as
Yeah.
a gag.
Yeah.
It gets more
Uh,
interesting once you realize that they have 22 Magnum cylinders for these.
No, you should get like a very long barrel blank, like a 28-inch long barrel blank, and then just fit that to the revolver.
No, you should carry this in short shorts. So it's just
Let it hang out the bottom.
the whole time. It's like, what? What are you looking at? What do you think I got, man? What's your problem here? That would actually be very funny. What's not very funny, however, is a sad update to this tragic attack in Washington, D.C. I'm going to mispronounce it again, but I don't really care. Ramanalula Lockenwall, the 29-year-old from Afghanistan who targeted and shot two members of the West Virginia National Guard today in Washington, D.C., didn't just serve in the Afghan army, but reportedly was a member of the Afghan National Army Commando Corps, an elite direct action force of the AFN, who fought directly alongside U.S. Special Forces against the Taliban. In addition, Fox News is reporting that Lockenwall worked with various other government entities from the United States and Afghanistan, including the CIA. That's odd. Specifically, as part of a CIA-backed Kandahar strike force, known in most intelligence circles as NDS-03, which operated outside of the U.S. and Afghan military chain of commands directly under the CIA, carrying out covert, clandestine counterterrorism operations, including night raids and assassinations against the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. So you can see they picked up the tag from this man. Very, very strange circumstances about this man. And I want to know more about him personally and his own beliefs. Because what leads you to be a AFN fighter, brought over here, CIA asset, working for all these other guys, to then just throw your life away?
Wasn't there a LinkedIn page on him where he like had a working history with USAID?
Probably. I mean, but was he angry that he lost his job? Because allegedly, the story as I hear it right now, is he drove from Washington State, top left corner of the U.S., to Washington, D.C., to target National Guard members deployed in Washington, D.C. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Maybe he just misread the directions. Just thought he was going home.
This is the longest. Maybe that he was put up with. He was just fed up with traffic. It had taken him 36 hours to get home. He didn't get any sleep, and so he just took it out on the first person in uniform that he saw. Which, again, it just seems weird to be working ostensibly like with the U.S. military over in Afghanistan, to be brought back as an asset because he would have been in danger had he stayed, right? Because he was a traitor to his own people or something like that, or they would have considered him a traitor to his own people.
He carries on
he
carries on the tradition of green on blue attacks.
Well, I mean, they weren't particularly good over there, and yeah, it appears that tradition has continued on. Now,
wasn't this specific group known for doing atrocious things to their what were they called, T-boys?
The general government, yes, but I don't know about the particular like paramilitary groups or CIA like commando groups.
Right, the Kandahar strike force. I don't know about any of these guys specifically what they were into, but yeah, I mean, some of these cultures are not particularly enriching. you could say the really sad update to this, though, is that originally it was reported that both the National Guard members had been killed. That was later redacted and updated to they were both in critical condition. However, unfortunately, today, one of them, Sarah Beckstorn, one of the National Guardsmen shot by a crazed gunman, has died. She was 20 years old, I want to say. This is a picture of her and her father. You can find a post from her father not too long ago about the upcoming holidays. He's saying, oh, one of my daughters is headed off to college for the first day. The other one's going to Washington, D.C. According to people in the know, Sarah decided to take the job or the deployment in the National Guard so that other people could have time off for the holidays. And for her troubles, she was murdered by an Afghani national who was let back into the country under Joe Biden in 2021. And it all just seems so strange and senseless that this father no longer has a daughter, and this 20 years old, like, what an absolute waste. What an abject waste. The other gentleman, as far as I'm aware, is still in critical conditions. So if you feel so inclined, you should be offering prayers up for the other man, because as of right now, he is still alive. So it is still one death. The gentleman, well, I shouldn't say gentleman, but Lockenwall is detained. He is alive, and hopefully we will be seeking some sort of public justice for this man for just gunning down two National Guard members in DC. Again, a place that he was not even from, even though, of course, he's not from here at all, but drove from Washington State to engage people to commit death by National Guard. I mean, he attacked them with a revolver, with just whatever he happened to have on him.
The Telegraph just released another photograph. It's very interesting. I posted into the side chat.
Let me pull it up here. This I have seen this one floating around as well. So this is him dressed in a black puffer coat with a revolver in hand. A picture has emerged showing the moment an Afghan national, Ramanullah Lockenwall, ambushed U.S. National Guards on the streets of Washington, D.C. One soldier, Sarah Beckstorn, 20, has died from her injuries. Another guardsman, Andrew Wolf, is fighting for his life. So you can see this man currently what looks to be running away. We're not exactly sure of the circumstances, if he's trying to get to his gun, to draw his gun. I had heard from some sources that they were not carrying around ammunition. So they were carrying around empty guns. And other sources have said that they returned fire. So I'm not exactly sure if they were all armed, if only some of them were armed. The people that we'd seen at the scene afterwards had their guns on them, but did not appear to have any magazines. So I'm not exactly sure what this guy's trying to do in this photo, if he's trying to get his gun loaded, if he has access to ammunition, because he has his gun out, but he is running away from the man with a revolver after he has already opened fire, I believe, at this point in time.
A bit inappropriately lighthearted, but they are carrying M17s or P320s, so.
Well, you could say maybe it makes sense for them to carry it unloaded because they don't want another incident on their hands. But just if none of them, or if only some of them, were carrying live rounds on them, it's like it's a paper show of force. There's no point to them actually being there if they don't have any means to defend themselves. They are essentially just targets, and this monster took advantage of the fact that they were just easy targets. And yeah, as a lot of people are pointing out in chat, the man just shouldn't have been there. Like, you could say there is an argument that, okay, well, he was an asset to us over there, and he helped us out. You know, you can make this argument. He helped us out over there, and we're going to bring him here so that he doesn't have to suffer the consequences of his actions by his own people, because his own people are probably going to not take things too kindly on him there, because, I mean, he would essentially be a traitor to those people. They would feel that he's a traitor for them.
As opposed to being a traitor for us.
Well, and now he's a traitor for us, right? Like, what an interesting trajectory in life. Just think about this, right? So you're an Afghan national. You decide to work against your people for the U.S. government, the CIA. They bring you to America. And then within a couple years, you are already radicalized, whatever it might be, to commit a terror attack against us?
Well, this isn't the first
I
time
don't
that
get
this
it.
happened. Like this isn't the first time it has happened. Not too long ago, like a Virginia police officer pulled over like another Afghan who was driving a car, had a gun in the car, and then shot at the cops.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he was a Terp, I believe, an
Mm-hmm.
interpreter.
It's possible, yeah. Maybe they were a Taliban sleeper cell all along, or they were just playing along to get out of their wherever they were, and they were always a sleeper cell of some sort,
Or
right?
maybe they are disgusted that America has turned their country like gay and corrupt, and then they abandoned everything.
Yeah,
So now the homeland is just fucked.
very possible.
It's just sad all around. I checked around to see if there was a GoFundMe or anything towards her, but I couldn't find anything. But it's just someone in the chat said it's literally just paper tiger. They're unable to care, or maybe unable, or chose not to carry ammunition in their sidearm. It's just this. They're scared of actually having to take action against in some of these cities against bad perpetrators who are doing crazy shit, because the media is just going to smear them as some type of racist or something like that. We're just trying to protect the streets. So I wonder if that's contributed to that, them not carrying one in the chamber or not having ammunition on them at all.
I mean, going forward, they should all be carrying ammo. Like I would not want. Like I would just feel like a target. I would feel naked. Like I'm wearing the U.S. Army uniform, and I have no means to defend myself against any of these crazy retards who want to try and kill me and my friends.
Yeah,
Right?
Who are definitely on something and won't feel any pain if you like try to defend yourself. They're probably on something. If it's usually, because when you're usually dealing with these like Washington D.C., Seattle, Portland, all these places that are deployed, most of these ruffians, well, besides this man, are these people hooked up on horse tranquilizers. So if you can't take them down, they'll just wail on you. No matter how strong you are, they will wail on you. It's just shit sucks. Just a sad situation all around.
I'm trying to find a tweet specifically, but one of them, I think it was Bill Crystal, who said, you know what? These Afghans that were letting into, this is around 2021 when he said this, these Afghans that we're letting into the country are better than your average American. You fast forward 3 years and it's like, probably not. No, thank you.
I mean, a lot of Americans aren't really acting like Americans. To be fair.
A lot of Americans aren't Americans, right? They might be here. They might have a piece of paper that allows them to be here, but I mean, says that meme, well, what type of American are you?
You said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand
concern
by it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people
it's
are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids.
I would just take it one step further. I don't care if they're properly vetted or not. They just shouldn't be here. Right. But he is right, of course, in just the broadest sense that these people are not actually properly vetted. We have no idea who some of these people are. At best, it's shoddy workmanship. And these people just defending them for the sake of defending them, they don't have your best interests at hearts whatsoever at all. And any evidence you point out to the contrary, they'll just ignore. They will absolutely just ignore.
Something like this like happened in my neck of the woods. Well, I'm North Idahoan, but like in Boise, there was just something that happened with an illegal immigrant let me pull up this. It's pretty tragic. I'm pretty sure he was either a truck driver or something like that and killed someone. It's fucking
Yeah.
just shit. It's
Or
happening
it's like
everywhere.
people here on an overstayed visa like 6 months and then they end up killing someone. And it's like, how are you still here again? Yeah,
Oh
so
my
this is
God.
Bill Crystal. Bill Crystal said that almost every Afghan refugee will turn out to be so much better an American than Charlie Kirk. This is from 2021. Yikes. What there's tweets that have aged like milk in like a single way, but this is multifactorial. Not only did this rhetoric end up getting Charlie Kirk murdered, assassinated, but then within a very short time frame, 2 Afghan nationals commit atrocities on US soil. So again, there's tweets that have aged like milk, and then there's this, which just is a special category all of its own. So thank you, Mr. Bill Crystal, for the world's worst premonition.
I'm very surprised he hasn't deleted that tweet yet. That is a fucking dog shit tweet.
That's an L, bro. That's just a bit of an oopsie. Now, I did see this floating around as well. I have absolutely no explanation for this at all, and I don't know what the reasonable man thinks about this. So this is essentially how do I see this? So she was Googled in Israel before the shooting. The name of Sarah Beckstrom, the National Guard member murdered by Afghan CIA asset in DC, was Googled by someone in Israel days before the shooting. So this does appear to be real, that 4 days before the murder, she was Googled hundreds of times in Israel, and Jake just sent this over to me. So I don't know what the even the conspiratorial angle is on this, but I thought I should mention it because I saw somebody send this to me basically, and I don't know what the explanation for this could have been outside of some weird pre-planning government op that people are going to get into or something like that. I have no idea. And yeah, I don't no. I have no idea. I have no idea how that happens. I don't know how Israel gets the news before we do. I don't know how that happens. I don't know. I don't even know if that's real. I don't know if that's somebody at Google just making a funny to get people riled up on Twitter. I have no idea.
If that is somebody at Google just faking this, that would be hilarious.
Well, I don't. Otherwise, you're saying that, like, okay, what's the other explanation of this? Israeli government officials are using Google. No, but they're using Google, like a public Google search, to see who we should take out in Washington, D.C. in 4 days.
Right.
Like, as opposed to just like some classified like information dump that they would get. They're actually using a public Google search. Like some Israeli officials on his laptop in Tel Aviv, like, oh, who are we going to kill today? Let's see. This will be a great event. We're going to kill Sarah Beckstrom. Oh, that's perfect. It has to be somebody like backdating this info or something. Like, unless it's just maximum trolling or something like that. I don't know how this could be real.
Could be also a VPN.
Well, yeah, but that wouldn't explain the timeline.
Well, just something like a personal friend or something using a VPN that put them in Israel.
Ran out of Tel Aviv.
I mean, there's servers.
Yeah, the VPN was
possible.
redirected.
I guess that's possible.
That seems like the most likely explanation.
Yeah. Well, why are they all from Israel? Everybody's VPNs? Because you Googled like 100 times, right?
Well, that was just specifically set on on Tel Aviv. Like,
yeah, I would think just one stalker or something happened to be using a VPN that was in Tel Aviv, something like that.
I mean,
yeah.
that is
that seems more likely than the alternative, but I don't know.
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, it would be out of like a Dr. Evil skit or something like that. Like, quick, Shlomo, Google Sarah Beckstrom. I think she's a perfect target of our CIA op that we're about to run in Washington, D.C. You got me distracted there, Richard.
Sorry, it was just perfect time.
Speaking of Jewish soundtracks, when you were during the opening, when you had the Ben Shapiro bit, some of you know I have a Shopify store, Meteorite Concepts, and we got an order just as the the Ben Shapiro bit was playing, and whenever you get an order, it has a cha-ching sound.
Oh yeah,
perfectly timed.
Perfect timing. That worked out. That worked out great. Now speaking of things that don't work out so great, does this image look familiar to any of you?
Yes, that's my pastor.
You switch churches, man.
Time on this show, bro. So this is Karl Casarda at SatanCon 2023 performing what's a good word for this? Some sort of progressive rage let off ritual. I don't know what this is, dude. I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm looking at. All right, all I know is that I pulled this from SatanCon 2023. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to know what the symbolism is. There was also another woman with him up there, and I don't know what her relationship with all this was. But yes, this is Karl Casarda, also in Range TV, formerly affiliated with Ian of Forgotten Weapons. Very, very outspoken in his beliefs. I should say former member of the Church of Satan, because they kicked him out at some point. I forget exactly what for.
What do you have to do to get kicked out of the Church of Satan? He was too good.
It was too good.
Bad.
He went too hard at the paint.
Too bad.
Too bad. Yeah, he was too bad, even for us. So Karl Casarda and Russell Fagan have kind of been buddy for quite some time in this, and they've been collaborators on a lot of things. They've done a lot of the brutality events, which people have really liked. And so they've been going back and forth on a lot. They've been collaborators, not necessarily completely ideologically aligned in every way. I believe Russell Fagan is more of a libertarian, is the way I could say it. Like,
which flavor of libertarian?
Well, like
the degenerate flavor.
Let the transgender queer maps have machine guns to defend their weed fields. Type of libertarian.
We don't like the state libertarian, so we don't like the state because they enforce an age of consent libertarian type of libertarian.
There's a funny overlap in the Venn diagram. There's Satanists and libertarians.
Consent laws not getting along with each other. It's just let me shoot. I just forgot what I was gonna pull up now because I was laughing at that. Gosh dang it.
For those who aren't aware, Russell runs KE Arms, the people who made the KP-15s, What Was Stoner Do rifles, all of that.
Yeah, so there should be there has been a big overlap, collaboration between them.
And for a lot of these far left militias, a lot of these types of weapons are found oftentimes in a standard capacity. Weird.
Yeah, never ask them how they voted. Never ask a libertarian how they voted. All right, but there was an article that came out a few days ago that drove a stake through the heart of their relationship. Let's say, is that how you kill a vampire, or how do you kill a demon? Holy water, maybe a splash of holy water on their relationship. But it was essentially
a loving family.
A loving family, yeah. Hey, yeah. The light of God struck Karl Casarda. The hard left shooters leading a gun culture revolution. This article came out and basically going over the trans militia ties with Karl Casarda and what his personal politics are. Essentially, hey, by the way, death to all those who stand in the way of freedom for queer people, which this doesn't mean anything. This means, like, if you don't agree with my ideology, you should die. I'm just like, all right, fair enough. If we're going to play those games, you've set the rules. But yeah, I mean, these are the types of people that Karl is setting his movement about. Roma booze. All right. But we went over this article last time, and it's mostly a fever dream of the most strange collection of words ever put to script. Let me see if I can find some of them. So, Gun Bunny is a Russian Jew who is polypansexual and has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. All right. Yeah, the driver is an indigenous Mexican Slovak Jew who is trans and chronically disabled.
I mean, being gay and retarded is not a unique trait in firearms competition or participation.
Yeah, I mean, I just think trans women are retarded men. All right, that's all. But anyways, there was a big because of the overtly political nature of this and the way that Karl has been going against, celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk or going outright against anybody who holds any sort of traditional values and championing these quote unquote marginalized communities. Sinastral Rifleman or Karl Fagan. Not Karl Fagan, right? It's Karl Fagan. Karl Fagan, right? Okay.
Yes.
I was like Karl Casada and Karl Fagan?
Karl Casada, Russell Fagan.
Yeah,
Russell Fagan. Okay, yeah. Because I was like, wait a second, they're not both named Karl. But anyway, Sinastral Rifleman. There is 100% surefire way to ensure a positive outcome for yourself. Get the hell away from Karl. You know it, and I do too. Even if I made a video wearing a Crusader helmet and disavowing Karl bad man, it would not increase sales. I would just be another unprincipled coward. Which is quite funny considering that they're about to break up.
Noting the date.
Yeah, when was this?
Most people
February 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people who I know, including myself, who own K-Arms products, either they're unaware of like InRange TV's politics, or they bought it like back then in like 2016 or 2017 or so before it became bad.
Well, when it was cool, right? I remember the What Would Soner Do project.
Yeah,
when it was
I have a K-Arms lower. Yeah.
I do too, and I was well aware of the issues at the time, and I was even aware of Russell being an asshole, and it still didn't deter me because $72 for a complete lower blim.
It's pretty good.
Sounds like Richard's the unprincipled asshole here.
100%.
No, Richard sounds like a true libertarian. I hate you, but your money's green, bro. So the hard left shooter leading a gun culture revolution. Hey, did you finally resign as match director or whatever the title you had for the brutality stuff? Throwaway account because my regular account name matches the name that I use on Discord, but I wanted to call out how it is an incredibly bad look for a cisgender, heterosexual, white male like yourself trying to center yourself in this discussion. The Wired piece, which is what we just referenced, is clearly focused on diversity in the two-way and competitive shooting space. It specifically isn't about you or for you. That article, good sir, it's not for you. I mean this with all respect, since we appreciate what you are doing for the LGBTQIA+ community with K-Arms. However, for something like this article, it's important, to take a back seat and let the conversation focus on more marginalized folks. Listen, Rosa Parks, get to the back of the bus, bitch. But I mean, it's like, hey, listen, white boy, you don't get to talk here. We're not racist here. You got to go to the back of the bus, all right? You don't get to talk. This is what these people do, by the way.
Once these people start talking, I just check out. Like, I just can't help but laugh. It's like, do people talk like this unironically? Like, I'll talk like this as a joke.
Oh, this is funny, right?
It's
wait, no, I have a new clip for this.
Gay.
Thank you, Lucas. Appreciate that. Appreciate the input there. That is the best response. But listen, this is what these people do. So I mean this with all respect. Since we appreciate what you are doing for the LGBTQIA+ community, it's like, thank you for what you've done. You've done a good service. Now shut up, right? As soon as you are useful, they'll keep you along. And then as soon as you go against them in any way, shape, or form, it's get out of here, right? You're not actually, you as a white cisgender male, it's like that they're using that as a slur against you, right? It's like you don't have any place here in our community, okay? We'll take
as someone who has a chance
you
of
to support us.
What is inclusivity? What does that mean?
It means excluding people who aren't inclusive. Mm-hmm. And I like how Reddit just does what Reddit does, is that this was already downvoted. Just this guy asking if he had stepped down as match director, just asking a normal question, like downvoted. How dare you? All right. Assuming this is from Sinastral Rifleman, Russell Fagan. Assuming everything you said is true, associating the match with far leftism or the Kirk assassination doesn't help us. Yeah, you're right. When you're like brutality events, that's for these people. That's for us. These folks who want to kill people who stand in the way of freedom for queer people. Tactical Girlfriend. Listen, if you're not accepting of Tactical Girlfriend, you don't belong at our matches, because our matches are inclusive to 1.5% of the population or something like that. Probably even less than that, to be honest. Associating the match with far leftism or the Kirk assassination doesn't help us. It will not help expand or keep venues. You are not privy to the hate mail or our venues receive that try to sabotage what we are doing, nor are you privy to the multitude of conversations I've had to reassure rages that we aren't crazy or dangerous. Maybe we cause forest fires in your rage and burn stuff down, foreshadowing. But what is also funny is that he says this out of one side of his mouth. Well, not Russell. Russell's actually probably saying this. He's probably being real. While Karl is actively calling for the president of the Pima Pistol Club to be removed because he made boomer tier jokes on Facebook. Like really, really benign boomer tier jokes that could be possibly construed as poking fun at LGBTQIA plus whatever, right? He's like, you have to be removed from this. We need to get rid of you. So while Russell is trying to like mend bridges and keep all of their venues and whatnot, Karl's on the warpath, torching everything that he touches. 2 out of 3 venues we use are because of my long-standing industry relationships from competing and sponsoring events there. We have not been able to find new venues that both meet the requirements we have and are willing to work with us. And it's because Karl is a difficult man to get in line. I've done the best to present us as simply an inclusive 2A for all shooting group and not an extremist militia to these venues. This article and headline undermines all of that. So
look at all the people that Karl or Inrange TV as a whole endorses. A Better Way 2A, Tactical Girlfriend, who likely is a member of the Puget Sound John Brown Gun Club, all these stuff, the SRA, all this stuff, and them specifically going against me, especially like Russell, when I criticized 2A for all in a video. And in a lot of the internal discussion, Russell, in fact, particularly hates me because of my reporting on these weirdos.
Listen, Russell, you can't tell a BIPOC Ukrainian BIPOC Ukrainian Russian.
I'm Kazakhstani
individual. You cis white male.
I'm a Kazakhstani Jew.
Hey, yeah, there you go. Sit down and listen. You're being heckin' anti-Semitic. This article in the headline undermines all of that. I resigned from in-range TV and brutality matches yesterday. Karl and I clearly have different priorities and goals with these events. I wish him and brutality matches the best. So Karl's last line to normalcy, the only person even keeping him in these matches or areas or ranges is Russell. And that's because Russell's, again, while he might be a wacky weirdo douchebag at times, he's kind of a normie in a lot of these ways. And he's not actually a hard leftist, Marxist, total tranny victory Karl Casarda.
I mean, like with the Inrange TV discussion, they're like specifically referring to me. Oh, he should have been on our side. You should be on our side. We're so cool. Oh, and then if you look at a old quote by Aesop, "A man is worth the company he keeps." And look what Inrange TV has to offer.
Yeah, what are you talking about? InRange has got a lot to offer. We've got Tranny Death Cult and yeah. What do you mean? Got a lot to offer. Now, as
they
far
have a
as
lot
like
of penises.
It's kind of funny. It's
actually a bit of a boys' club when you get down to it. You know?
I know the focus.
Hashtag male-dominated spaces.
Now I know the article. Like we already covered the article on like the last stream, but the like one of the quotes in the article was a tactical girlfriend would cover her face to hide her identity, even though this individual openly posts on OnlyFans.
That's
tactical girlfriends on OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Wait, James, you sounded excited. That was the wrong tone.
Wrong tone.
Wrong tone, James. You used personality 2 with Frederick Group 1, bro. That was wrong. Wait, where? I mean, I need to avoid it. So where is it? So I don't find it.
That's right.
Bucky's seen the evidence. The things I've seen.
The people on Q
gosh.
Yeah, the people on QE Farms and 4chan do the heavy lifting sometimes. I'm glad they do that, so I don't have to.
Yeah. Is Kodiak getting roasted in the chat? I'm sorry, Kodiak. You mean well, but people just bully you because you're funny.
Yeah.
All right, so these are the Bucky. I think you put these in there, but these are just the archives of the post, just so that people don't lose them, just in case, right?
Right. If there's screen caps, and you'll be like, "Oh, this is doctored." If it's a literal like web archive, then it can be verified and trusted.
Yeah, that's why archiving stuff and people like Bucky being autistic about this stuff is actually really useful, because you can actually figure out, what's real and what's not, what's doctored and what's not, so on and so forth.
Yeah, so you don't get gaslit.
Now this is funny too. This one here, I didn't see the other post for this, but Wired chose not to interview me. This is, of course, Russell Fagan as the match director for whatever reason. I'm a centrist libertarian. A centrist libertarian now is like the radical leftist from just a few years ago. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
So is this a type of libertarian that doesn't like the state for enforcing a consent law?
I've heard that Russell can be a reasonable person, and I've never personally interacted with Russell before, so I don't want to dog him too much. He hasn't made his specific. Well, go ahead. If you have something specific you want to elucidate us on, then go ahead. But I personally have not had any negative interactions with Russell. While he might be a cringe libertarian, I don't know any of his specific stances.
Yeah, Russell's website is straight out of 1992. And when I first checked it out, it looked extremely sus to me. So I didn't want to put in my own credit card on there and risk it getting ripped off. So I used I was trying to use a prepaid Visa card, and he just refused to accept it, and then tried to accuse me of doing a straw purchase and other criminal activity. It's like, dude, your website is sketchy as shit, and I don't trust you.
So he has a sketchy website, and he wasn't nice to you specifically, right?
Yeah, and then, like I said, accusing me of a straw purchase and other things. The accusations of poor are one thing, that's true, but
it's like, yeah, I'm trying to pay with a prepaid Visa. What's your problem, bro?
Well, it's his website is just, like I said, it was extremely sus, and I knew what they get into. I don't trust them personally, but I wanted a $72
little receiver.
Yeah. So
what men will do to save $20, bro? $20? $20?
50.
You can use that for OnlyFans.
Oh, $50. Whoa. I mean, Jake would know. I mean, Feet Finder. Hey, I know your account. Might be your top donator on there, bro. Wired chose not to interview me as a match director for whatever reason. I'm a centrist libertarian. I simply want to run good shooting matches for people to have a constructive place to exercise their constitutional rights with firearms. Very, very nice. Get better at shooting and make friends without being surrounded by toxic people. I don't know the politics of most of our shooters beyond they don't want to be persecuted or discriminated against for immutable characteristics.
I highly doubt that.
Then why is he all pissy at me whenever I make a video?
Well,
against communism.
Yeah. See, this is why I don't tend to believe these people. So he's like, I simply want to run good shooting matches for people to have a constructive place to exercise their constitutional rights. Well, unless you're toxic, and by toxic, I mean you disagree with me, because you're trying to have it both ways. I don't know the politics of most of our shooters beyond that they don't want. So it's like, the politics, though. You know the patches they're wearing. You see what they're dressed like. You see who they are, who they pretend to be. Like, you know what crowd you're cultivating, right? And you're upset because Karl is pushing it even further, right? But I guarantee you somebody like myself would not be welcome there. Or even most people by this metric. Associating our events with the Kirk assassination at all doesn't do us any favors and just made my job harder. Yeah, when your partner is celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, people tend not to like that very much, because I don't know if you're aware of this, Russell. People don't want to be assassinated for very normie views, and it's a joke, but like Charlie's views were the moderate position in a lot of ways, right? He's not the radical you paint him as. He was a big voice, which is why it was important for him to be removed from the leftist paradigm. But he was a fairly moderate position in a lot of things.
Yeah, it kind of. I think it's funny how Russell apparently used the term centrist libertarian. I feel like Charlie was a lot closer to that term than Russell is in any modern sense of that term. Like, I know these terms just move around, but I feel like the term centrist now is like slightly to the right of Mussolini, just because of how far the leftist moves. So, like, I just don't know that you can use that.
On a strict immigration policy, you basically are Mussolini. You're actually a fascist. Have I ever read what he said about fascism? No, but you're that thing, all right? Yeah, I mean, libertarian to me is like if I like a small government wants to be small government, not necessarily no government, because I would fall under more like anarchy, but basically generically small government, pro freedom. And then nowadays it's like, well, pro freedom, yeah, but also you need to pay for my transgender surgery, and we need infinity immigrants from all over the world. And that's my libertarian position. It's like, really?
Oh, we want liberty. We want more liberties for speech, but we're compelled to put our own worldview towards others. And if you say otherwise, we'll kill you.
Right. It's like, I want freedom of speech, but that was hate speech that you just said to me. And so you shouldn't be allowed. You're toxic, actually. So you shouldn't be allowed at our events. Yeah, no, I agree with Counter. Mussolini was the sensible center leftist. Yes.
Did you guys ever look into Fiume, the city state that he was sponsoring through his newspaper?
Wait, which one? Sorry, Mussolini?
Yeah, Mussolini. When he was writing, he was the editor-in-chief of a newspaper. I believe it was called the People's Voice. I think that's the name of it. In the 1920s, after World War One, he was essentially sponsoring a city-state called Fiume, where they ran a socialist experiment that was touted by Stalin as being a socialist utopia. And long story short, it collapsed after just a couple of years. But, it's an interesting read.
Everyone loved Mussolini back before, in his heyday, like
he was extremely
World War
charismatic.
II, everyone loved him. In the U.S., you'd find all these glowing pieces about him. I mean, yeah, the guy was... I don't know if he was ever officially like Times Man of the Year. I know Hitler was, but he was quite admired across the globe by socialists and fascists, and everyone thought that he was the future. He wasn't, by the way. Mussolini, not a great guy.
Wait,
but,
did that not work out?
Yeah.
I haven't finished the story yet. You just spoiler alert, bro. Spoiler alert. Yeah, as Samarata says, libertarians are now defending AI CSAM. Yeah, it's AI lolly slop. Yay, woohoo. You have a right to produce this material in your own home or something like that. It's like, I don't know. Man-made horrors beyond our comprehension. That's what I think of this degenerate nonsense. But anyways, speaking of burning bridges, Jake, how's your night going, man?
It's going fine, I would say.
Yeah, there was a suspicious lack of dogs on the panel, and so people were asking for it. So I feel like you kind of balance out the face cells on the panel, and then we also have the feet cells, which is your position down there. Actually, what would be really funny? You know what would be really funny? How we're all arranged here. If everybody had their cameras in a different spot so that it made a full human throughout the panel. Right. So if Glow So Bright was the neck, we had James's torso, we had Richard's belly, we had Webba's crotch, and then we had Jake just his feet. And so it's just like a tall, slender man human. This side would be very funny. Would be very funny. Speaking of funny, though, In-Range TV High Desert Brutality 2025 fire for effect. Ah, really? Let me see. So, this isn't the first In-Range TV brutality match that I've written about, and it won't be the last. Why? Because these matches keep getting better. High Desert Brutality 2025 was a match for the record books, and also set fire to one of their ranges accidentally.
Wait, so can't get better? So if fire would makes it good, what's the next stage of one-upping it? Someone getting shot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this could be a Sonny Puziska training course next year, dude. He's going to be the top instructor. Next time your friends get assessed because of a range or BLM lands closed due to fire risk, send them this article. The fact is, brush fires are extremely easy to spark off, even when you do everything right. Sometimes you still burn down half the range. This is a very, very nice way to phrase we accidentally burnt down half the range. Sometimes these things just
happens. Yeah.
Less than 2 hours into the first day of High Desert Brutality 2025, a fire sparked off on one of the stages that not only closed the range for the day, but would go on to burn about 225 acres in just a few hours. Our steel targets were over 300 yards away from the shooter. The ground around the target was cleared of brush, and the shooter was using standard 55 grain FMJ ammo from a major manufacturer. This was confirmed by the match director and several ROs after checking the rest of the shooter's magazine and even pulling and cutting bullets to make sure. Despite everything, the fire started a solid 50 feet away from the target being shot. Sometimes these things just happen. Thankfully, no one was hurt by the fire and no structures were lost or damaged. Match staff acted quickly to attempt to contain the fire, but with how dry the brush was and the wind, it spread quickly. Emergency fire crews were able to contain it with the help of water bombers. Not a great start to the weekend. Yeah, you could say so. I mean, that's pretty rough, bro. And I don't know if that's the range's property. I would hope it's all the range's property so that they didn't do damage to somebody else's, but ooh. The result of the fire was the match having to reduce the number of stages from 7 to 4 to get everyone through Sunday. Even with the shorter match, it was a long day for shooters and especially the ROs. Yeah, I hope that's all the range's land that they burnt down. Oof. But I think it's just a little bit of foreshadowing, some premonition of their relationship burning to the ground, and the fact that they're already having a hard enough time getting ranges to actually host them because of some of Karl's antics. And then you go ahead and burn down a couple hundred acres at one of your events, and it's just a little bit of a rough time for you.
Yeah, it was over in Parma. It was over in Parma, Idaho.
John, you see the comment? Well, he is a flamer.
Well, he is a bit of a flamer. That he is. Rough. Okay, well, we are going to jump into some of your guys' super chats real fast, and then we're going to get to
while you're doing
Jake's
that,
favorite actually, Jake, you picked a perfect time.
Hold up
Go
1
ahead.
second.
Go ahead.
Look up the other articles written by, like, just skim through them, written by the same author for them, just glazing
David
stuff.
Lane.
Yeah, just glazing that, glazing what would still reduce stuff, and also just general chivalry of top 5 bulk carrier groups. Whoa,
it was very flattery, it was about as good as it could have been.
Am I the only one who gets uncomfortable when people use the phrase glazing? Like, I know
glazing,
I mean, Karl likes that sort of attention and the other sort of glazing. So,
all right. Well, here's the real question, James. All right, does this make you uncomfortable?
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Because does that make you uncomfortable? Okay, good. All right. Yeah. So let's both make you uncomfortable. Okay. Not Jake. Jake would never get upset by that. Jake falls asleep to that.
It makes me really uncomfortable, actually.
Jake, you have the long version of that. You have the 10-hour version of that downloaded to your phone.
I think it's retarded and gay. Okay.
Just don't even try anymore.
I don't know anything about this David Lane fella, but yeah, he's written a few articles about their midnight brutality events and a few other things. It did seem very complimentary for what essentially amounts to, we cut the match in half and burned 220 acres. Most people would be a little bit more upset about that, but apparently not. Maybe he just really likes this style of match. This style of match has never been appealing to someone like me. I mean, it might be fun for some people, but it's usually more focused on, I don't want to say it's not focused on shooting, but it's more like very mild physical exercise combined with low round count shooting. So it's not that interesting to me because I just want to go fast.
But John, right? It's heckin' based. Imagine, do you know how impressive it is that people can do this even when they're on hormone replacement therapy?
Well, see, that's the
it's
thing.
Really
it's
empowering.
Like, you just don't want to run around in the woods. It's like, look at the average BMI of people in this photo. Okay, like this isn't like hard physical exercise. it's like mild. It's like move from position 1 to 2, engage 3 targets. It's like, all right.
The guy in the back looks like he's not wearing a shirt.
All natural, baby. All right.
Wait.
Yeah, I've started to realize that some of these things are just the thing about competitions. We only have so much time, right? And we only have so many competitions that we go to in a year. I mean, some of us go to more. Like John, you went to a number this past year, but so sometimes we're just looking for a good time, and something like this can be both. The physical activity is simply enhances the challenge and the fun aspect of it. In terms of the actual training, the actual testing of your equipment, there might be some value, but yeah, I've started to realize that a lot of the stuff, when you go to a competition, they have all these extra things added in. It's usually just to add a little bit of flair. It's just kind of to make it a little bit more fun and a little more interesting. It's not like you're getting
it makes people feel like they're doing something, right? Because if you do a 30-second USPSA stage, it's like, oh, I didn't do anything. But if you walk around a little bit in between, because this is essentially what it is. It's basically the same round count a lot of the time, but it's like spaced out over 200 yards. So if I do a light jog from position 1 to 2, I feel like I've done something.
Right.
So for me, when I'm like, well, I can jog at home whenever I want. Yeah. It's like I can lift weights.
You can even jog in kit. You can go on a ruck. You can, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too. If it's exercise, like just put on your kit and go for a walk. It's really nice. You should just do that sometime.
For like trying to set up a competition in a semi-realistic way, I really like Delta 34 as a ridge racer. And I like the direction he does for that.
I like Matt, but I also have some of the same critiques of his competition, where it's everybody tries to do like the realistic thing, where the shooting is not very difficult. And it's like, listen, I can move from position to position. Like I can do that. Like I can run, I can run, I can do all these things. I can shoot laying down, I can shoot standing up, I can shoot upside down, I can, right? I can do all these different things. So if the shooting is not particularly difficult or strenuous part of the activity, like I'd rather just be separating out the activities. I'd rather work out really hard and then go shoot, and not necessarily combine, because that's what happens with the tactical games a lot. It's like mild physical exertion, like mediocre athleticism mixed with mediocre shooting. And if you find that fun or more engaging, totally fine. If that's your sport, totally fine. But I just think you can become a better shooter by practicing the shooting, and you can become a better athlete by just doing the athletic stuff.
The appeal is the fun, right? Like I like CrossFit, so I enjoy like those sort of tactical game style competitions because they're like fun, and they'd
be great at it.
Well, right. Well, I mean, I'm not a great shooter, so that's the big problem. But I mean, it is fun, and that's why I like that kind of thing. Because I mean, in the end, anything to keep you in the sport, anything to keep you engaged, then it is worth it in that regard. But if all you're trying to do is get better at shooting or get better at fitness, you are going to benefit 100 times more by doing them separately, not doing them combined. Occasionally, you can do them combined to get, to test it, and even to practice. Like there's something to be said for shooting when you're exhausted, right? You should know how you perform when you're exhausted. But you can train like that a couple times and get a sense for that. You don't need to do that as a competition, except because it's just, that's the way to sort of enhance the fun side of it, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like, oh, well, you're never going to have the real cardio in a real fight. It's like, what you do to up your cardio is you run. You're not going to like me saying this, but you go on a run. Like you just run. And not for 100 yards, not for 200 yards. No, you go out there and you run. All right. When I was training for marathons, I was doing 100 miles a week. Super fun stuff. It's like my cardio, perfect. Never had to, what? It's better to not ever have to worry about being tired because you're just never tired. You just have that cardio tank.
Hey, John, I was going to ask, is Karl associated with the Finnish brutality as well? Or is that
so the European, from what I'm aware of, the European events are not related to Karl at all. And he is very upset about that.
Okay. I was going to say, because I didn't know because that seems more normie. A lot of regular big YouTubers go there. I didn't know if there was many like axe wound recipient types there. But I guess that answers my question.
Yeah. So yeah, Luke is in the chat. He says no, he's not anymore. From what I remember, they kind of worked together a little bit to set up some of the events, and then he got really butthurt because they allowed quote unquote like right wing YouTubers like Micah Mayfield, super right wing, and who ended up apologizing to him.
The most right wing YouTuber,
fascist
Micah Mayfield.
Yeah,
or you got
too right wing for these brutality events. Okay, we don't cater to your types here.
or
if he's right wing, what would happen if one of you guys showed up there? Would they like jump off a cliff or something? What the hell?
It's just shoot us on sight.
We could only hope so.
I mean, the other thing is that Valestelco would do stuff like their surplus merchandise would get sold to eventually Ukrainians, or as a celebration of folk hero Larry Thorne, who defended his country, his homeland from communists.
Right. He also trained with the SS.
I believe it was like a volunteer. It was like volunteer or voluntold to receive military training or tactical training to go back to Finland with it. It's shared knowledge of tactics or military.
Yeah, he trained with the bad guys to defend his homeland. He's evil. You can't celebrate your local hero because he's associated with someone that I dislike. It's like, all right, weirdo. It's like I don't get upset at Norwegians because they vandalize the coast of Scotland. It's like you can't have your own folk heroes. You can't immortalize these people. They did bad things. What the heck?
I'd advise most people not to, but if you do decide to go to a brutality match, wear full fire-resistant clothing, a ballistic helmet, as well as level 3 plates.
Yeah, be very careful what patches you wear. I do like, where did you got these from? AliExpress, the Miku Russia and Ukraine
Toho,
patches.
Yeah, the Toho ones. They're literally from the same vendor. Like these Chinese patch vendors would sell like both the Ukrainian and the Russian patches from the same store page.
I'm playing both sides, right? And I mean,
that's the way to do it.
The actual Ukrainians, like, I feel bad for you guys. You're fighting for your homeland, all that sort of stuff. However, the Ukrainian, like, Western bros, like, they all turn out to be like gay furries for some reason, and I don't know if it's just like they identify with like freedom fighters or something like that. As far as the actual Ukrainians, like,
yeah,
I'm sorry you're in this position, but go for it, man. If you're fighting for your homeland, go for it, man.
Like, I have a hard time because about a year before everything broke out in Ukraine, I went on a mission trip to Ukraine. So I like have actual friends in Ukraine who are, in the trenches. It's like, so, I feel a certain sense of connection to Ukraine that most Americans don't. And yet then you get all these posers just like putting Ukraine flags in their Facebook bios or whatever. Thing, dude. And it's like, yeah.
Or they don't.
Well, and I think our church sponsors a tiny little church in Ukraine. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it is basically a house church in Ukraine, and it's a tiny little place. And for the people there, I 100% sympathetic towards everything that goes on there. However, my criticism is always our gay government doing retarded stuff with money and financing, and then of course all of the corruption within Ukraine. Okay, so it's nothing personal, Ukrainians. It's nothing personal. Amrite Boy for 2 says, later and gayer than Karl's dreams. Great Redoubt show. Oh, well, thank you, Amrite Boy. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Subarctic Psycho for 2 says, Karl is a massive British meatball. Yeah, what do they call those?
Yeah, the Redoubt stream is good. There were a couple times where I wanted to yell at James, though.
You're
not the only one.
No, it's okay. Don't take us off track.
I'm confused about that joke. I thought Karl is a British cigarette.
British meatballs. I think you pronounce that fagot, a traditional British dish. Hearty meatballs. Hearty meatballs. Just what everybody wants.
I thought he was a British cigarette.
Oh, let me fix that. That is totally wrong. That is in the wrong orientation. Gosh dang it. Just like James, in the wrong orientation. Oh, ouch. Ouch. Let me fix that.
That was criminal.
that was kind of me. That was too mean. There. Oh, no, it's still too big. Gosh dang it. We're doing it live. Is that really still cutting off? Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, that works.
Now, I will say the one thing I like about this show as opposed to the Redoubt show is, like, on the Redoubt show, we talk about, theological issues and some, like, nuanced issues where we have to, like, disagree with each other. And then I come here and we're just all on the same page. We can all just make fun of these lefties and trannies.
The theological centered show is much more controversial internally. Yeah. Well, I was like, damn, James is actually gay.
I can't really tell which patch would upset InRange TV more. I just can't tell, so I wore both of them.
Yeah. Just play both sides, just like that Chinese company making these patches. I think that's true libertarianism right there. Okay, sell to both sides. Polly B says for 2, the video thumbnail drop my testosterone 100 nanograms per deciliter. Yeah, bro, that'll happen right there. That's the face of your community right there. Okay, you guys can have him. Logan sucks at shooting. Remember for 12 months says nearly 10 minutes late. I was about to unsubscribe. I'm sorry. It was my fault partially. I technically could have started the show without me even being here. Lightsport for 2 says catch the VOD later. Getting drunk with friends. Well, hey, you're having a great Friday night. Have a good time, man. Just watch the drunkenness. It's a bad habit to make. Hopefully you're a young man and you have a lot of time to learn. Or if you're an old man, I hope you get that stuff figured out. Samurai Boy for 2 says Richard, a German Luhan pick, please. Also, little known war hero from the time, Haley Luhan of the 3rd Finnish Brigade. Lightsport for 2 says also I second the Lightning Luhan. Somebody Cycle for 5 says Richard, anime girl cleaning a rhino, which sounds dirtier than it actually is. Logan Sucks at Shooting for 5 says, hey James, what Glamourange is that? How does it compare to the 10-year?
So this is a 14-year Glamourange. It's the Quinta Ruban. I don't know if this one they regularly run, but I saw it at the local liquor store on sale and I picked it up and it is quite good actually. So I normally do the 10-year, the orange label is a good like $50 Scotch bottle, and I like that one. This one's better. This one is aged in, I think, both bourbon cask and bourbon barrel, and then a sherry cask. So you get a little bit of that wine flavor, but it's not overpowering like some scotches that are aged in sherry.
Have you ever had the Dalmore sherry?
James,
I have. What do you think about it?
For you?
James, do you enjoy Japanese malts? I like Nikka Frontier. I posted a picture of it in the side chat if you want to pull it up.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about already. As soon as you said it, it's.
I think my favorite Scotch is I think it's Glenlivet 15-year, and it's aged in cognac. It's like a dessert whiskey. It's fantastic.
It's smoky. It's
Call me a
sweet.
woman.
It's strong. It's fit for a king.
I'm a big fan of the Lagavulin 16. I know it's kind of a classic and it's perhaps a little overused, but it's a good Scotch. It's like a $90 bottle, but it's just good. It's a great balance of sweet and smoky.
If any of you guys are wondering what year I'm drinking, this is 2025 Rainbow Sherbet from Rain. It's quite good. You guys should try it sometime. Rainbow. Oh, actually,
what notes are you getting there?
Actually, it's not rainbow. It's straight bow, not rainbow. Focus Trip's wife for 5 says GTA gets a pride shout out before a cameo of me, Layman Gay. Anna, you make every show happen. Aw. I walked out in between the readout and this show, and my wife was like surrounded by 3 screaming children as they were watching a show. It was great. A scene of utter chaos that she's dealing with right now. Huge ass for 5 says Q is the firearm equivalent to Apple. That's not true. Apple makes working products.
Oh, that's a big fucking lie. My
true.
iPhone is like shitting its bricks right now.
Nah, it's all right. Hey, they were good when the Apple guy was still alive. Polly B for 5 says Q kvetching about full auto meltdown is like a Ford EcoBoost bros lamenting LS3 stands taking 150 nitro shots stock. Cope, seethe, melt and knock. All right, some car humor there. Appreciate that. Thank you, Polly B. Axe Grind for 5 says, what are your thoughts on the SCOTUS case, Ashcroft v. Free Speech Coalition? I think it's very bad, but some people don't. What do you think? That sounds like a Indian X post right there, just trying to farm engagement.
Yeah, he's the bot posting. Also, Axe, I didn't know you watched the stream, Axe. I thought you. Okay, never mind.
Ashcroft. Okay, I don't know anything about it, so I will have to look it up. And you were intentionally very vague, so now I am slowly typing away. Ashcroft v. Free Speech Coalition. If speech is neither obscene nor child pornography, it is protected from attempts to categorically suppress child pornography. What? It is protected from attempts to categorically suppress, even if it's related to it. Statutes that are overly broad in defining what speech is suppressed are unconstitutional. This is from 2002. What are you asking us about, bro?
No shit.
This sounds
Breaking
like a
news.
libertarian question. This is a very libertarian coded question. If you actually ban all CSAM, it's actually it's against my freedom of speech rights. You need to ask a more specific question, Axegrind. Okay?
Is that the libertarian centrist position?
Yeah, this is
why
I'm gonna phone
libertarians.
up Russell Fagan and see what his position on this is. All right.
This is why
He might
No, if
agree
we
with you.
ban it,
actually
it will
suck.
still people will still get it.
Libertarians actually
yeah,
suck.
yeah. Anyways, face
they
the
don't-
wall.
They don't deserve to be in polite society. That's my opinion.
That's your moderate position. Yes.
That's my moderate position. Fire up the gas chambers. See you later, libertarians.
That's actually going to be very important for the next story.
One thing I've realized is that leftists and libertarians suffer from a similar issue in that they both tend to fall into the but does it work in theory category, right? Where it's like, it doesn't work in practice at all. Communism doesn't work in practice, but does it work in theory? The same is true of libertarianism, but they're for very different reasons. At least libertarianism has sort of a somewhat anchored foundation where it does at least admit to the sinful nature of man and sort of tries to orient that sinful nature into something that's productive. And as far as like capitalism, it generally does a good job. It's just it because it neglects any kind of higher morality, it ends up failing in the practical real world, which does actually matter. You can't just have something that works in theory. But very often, if you watch like Milton Friedman, he makes a lot of good points, and it starts to convince you. I used to be a libertarian in that sense, where I'd watch a lot of Milton Friedman, and I was like, oh, this seems to work well. I read The Law by Frederick Bastiat, but in thanks, Jake. I still believe in some of that stuff, but in the end, you realize that libertarianism is an unmoored and ultimately untenable position because it just doesn't have any kind of tether to reality, and it only works in theory. It doesn't actually work in the real world where things do not work perfectly. It's very much like pure economics. If you study economics from a pure capitalist perspective, you can get a lot of John, are you mimicking me? What is this?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just chilling, dude.
Sorry. You can, if you study like pure capitalist economics, you can get the definitive answers for how you're supposed to act in pretty much every situation. Problem is, people aren't actually rational. People don't actually act according to the, economic principles that you've laid out, and therefore all of your principles end up not working in the real world. And that's why you need a conservative movement to actually tie all of these theories in and more them with reality. And so I find that I've got a brother who's very libertarian, and he'll make good points, but it's the same kind of points that Milton Friedman would have made, and they work in theory, but then when you actually try to apply them to the real world, at some point you got to brand prostitution because prostitution is bad for society. You can make all these arguments where in theory it's actually worse to ban prostitution, but it's like
precept debate here. But I think that libertarians they have to. Their worldview has to rest upon the fact that everybody is rational and everybody will act rationally. Well, that's just not the case.
Yeah, James, that was a lot of
simply not the case.
words. That was a lot of words for you just to agree with me that libertarianism is retarded. So
no, I basically agree. Yeah, it's at least autistic. I don't know about retarded, but it's autistic.
I agree in a more nuanced and interesting way. All right. But Monty Igloo for 2 says, "What did Karl the Cuck do? I mean, a little bit of Firestarter, a little bit of gay Satanism, a little bit of Wired article." Central Stands Defense for 2 says, "Keep it down, trying to put the kid to bed." Well, good luck with that. I hope you got it done, considering we're an hour past this now.
Ben was texting me earlier about an interesting story where he was propositioned by a troon during an arrest. We're going to have to hear more about that one later.
Was it one of Karl's roommates? Or
it may have been.
Yeah, different AO, but Central Stance Defense for 5 says, "The longer the GWAT has been over, the more and more society realizes it was for nothing. Wasted lives for nothing. Unalived Americans for nothing." Well, and I think with the further away that it gets, we see the ripple events and the bad things that came from it, right? So what was initially promised was a war against mass terrorism and WMDs ended up being regime change.
That war was promised 3,000 years ago.
And destabilization, poppies, oil,
military, industrial complex, all sorts of things.
Huge ass for 5 says Karl when his corn subscription lapsed. Subarctic Psycho for 5 says, what would Stoner do? I don't know, but he'd probably call these people a slur. That's almost
gay.
Thank you, Subarctic Psycho. Huge ass for 2 says, tolerance is not a Christian virtue. Well, listen, in the Redoubt stream, we listened to some progressive Christianity say that, what did he say about the Bible? He's like, oh, yeah, it's painful when we read these passages. All right. Thank you, Huge ass. Appreciate that. Over on Ko-Fi.
That guy, he said something like, I hate the Bible. And,
basically,
I don't believe it. Also, my rabbi told me.
Also, my rabbi friend told me, yeah, that's...
Reading passages is painful, but sodomy is not. Yeah. Apparently. I don't know.
I'll be surprised.
Anonymous Ko-Fi supporter says, excellent. Our weekly dose of Kasharda shaming. Oh, there we go. I see. Also, John, an opinion on braced large format pistols, AR-9 for home defense. It's fine, but I would always rather just have a 10.5 AR. Like, you know, I think AR-9s are fine for home defense, okay, but really anything is fine for home defense as long as you can put rounds where you want to in a short amount of time and you have access to it, right? Because we've seen home invasions where they had guns in the house, but nobody had access to it in time. So yeah, it's whatever you physically can use and then have access to. Now, for me, the terminal effects of a 5.56 are just so much better than 9mm. So a 10.5, like I have a 12.5. I have a 12.5 suppressed AR in my closet. That's the gun.
Or you could just be a Chad and carry your carry gun in a Safari Land holster all day in your house.
Yeah, never take off your duty
Literally me right now.
I mean, realistically, like it would be the handgun that's on my desk right now. That is realistically what would be used.
You're not going to take the scar off the tripod and get it all ready.
I'm never going to take the scar off the tripod. That's never going to get used.
Okay, the whole tripod down the hallway.
I mean, there are actually several loaded handguns within my vicinity because they're on like belts and rigs for competition. So I'd be like, what do I choose? What do I choose?
Not having a super safe gun fixed on a tripod pointed at the front door with a 100-round mag.
There you go.
I think some of you guys are overthinking this. Just the mere presence of a gun safe will dissuade the criminal from breaking in.
I think that might be an incentive.
Yeah. All right, Joe Biden. All right, Wubba Bubba Biden. Wubba Bubba Biden down there, buddy.
I just sent 2 blasts from a shotgun in the air.
Oh my god!
Break the law. That's how I scare off home intruders.
Hey Logan, the 2 guns 1 comp competition over at the Puma Pistol Club seems fun.
Yeah, do that one instead. Logan Sucks at Shooting for 5 says, all I'm seeing is that these brutality tactical games matches are really gay in multiple ways. Yeah. Victor,
the brutality are a little different though, right? Tactical games is like CrossFit with a little bit of shooting.
Yes,
the brutality actually have like obstacles
different.
to clear. I've only done brutality. I've never done tactical games, but I did appreciate the one brutality match that I did because of how tough it was. Like I realized that, wow, doing this stuff in kit is really hard. I mean, it was hard to forget the shooting side of it. It was just hard to finish the sets because when you got to pick up a 100-pound log and carry it 25 yards, that does take the wind out of you. And when that's just one part of your stage. So yeah, it is worth doing at least to see the challenge and to I think you do actually start to see some limitations in your own fitness regimen and maybe your shooting abilities as well.
Well, and if you've never walked around in your kit, you just have it sitting in your closet somewhere, and then you actually have to do something in it. That's always fun too, right? Yeah. If you've never crawled in your plate carrier and ruck, then yeah, good luck. Good luck getting through a tunnel.
About brutality is that the hardcore divisions, they would gamerify it with like a lightweight rifle with a break, and then have the lightest plates they can find, and then have like 2 magazines for the entire course of fire for the entire match duration, instead of like 8 magazines.
Right, but other than that, you have to
all that stuff.
You have to set up like a weight minimum. It's like you must be carrying at least 30 pounds of kit, and then you have to measure everybody's kit and do all that sort of stuff, which is like, now we're anti-gamifying it, which is also a game, because now I'm carrying exactly 30 pounds while Jimbo's carrying 61 because he's started.
Well, they also couldn't do that because of the amount of women that compete in those. They couldn't.
Well, you just have well, listen, the
Well,
women
like,
that
women-
are there are
women
men.
or
I mean,
women?
same physical standards apply, bro. Male dominated spaces. Victor the Third for 5 says had first USPSA match last Sunday, hoping to do more. Well, good. I hope it went well for you, man. It's wintertime here. It is 20 degrees outside and a couple inches of snow on the ground. So I'm going to the range tomorrow. So that should be fun. Gloop, member for 1 month. Jake, where dogs? It's funny is he sent this before you came on the show, Jake. It's premonition.
I know. Gloop is a homeboy. He's not getting dogs, but he's a homeboy.
Central Sands Defense. What's some dogs between bros? Central Sands Defense for 10 says immutable means unable to be changed, unalterable, or changeless. Yet your partner supports chopping people's body parts off. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the crux of it. It's like these things are immutable. It's like, well, no, because we can see what brings these things on, and you can see people who have quote unquote detransitioned. So these things are surely not immutable. Surely not. And I mean, you're attempting to match your, like, we can change your brain. Like, what person thinks that we can't like massively alter your brain chemistry? Like, listen, if I hook up James to all the psychedelics in the world and think he's going to come out the exact same if everything he believes right now is immutable, like, no, like I could MK Ultra anybody, given enough time and energy and a blank check from the CIA. Listen, all right, I can alter anyone's brain chemistry permanently.
Also, for anyone who says race is an immutable characteristic, I would point you to
Michael Jackson,
Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. Tell me that is not a black man. Okay.
Oh, that's actually, dude, racism BTFO'd right there, dude. Yeah, that's my response, Jake. Whoop. No, thank you, Central Sands Defense. Appreciate that, man. Gloop has some accusations against Jake. Probably true. Honestly, I haven't looked into it, but they're probably true. Amrai Boy for 2 says, Jake, do you pinky promise in a bad way? What is a bad pinky promise?
Yes, that's a reference to something in the Discord. And yes, I do.
Vandalay for 5 says, cardio is underappreciated and John just inspired me to run tomorrow. Dude, I did last night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was in the gym walking for an hour and I was like, this sucks. I shouldn't be here. I should be asleep. And then I stayed up till 5 o'clock in the morning because I don't sleep. So, Dick Beater. Big question, James. What cigar tonight? I will judge you based on answer.
These are Oliva seconds, so they're unlabeled, but they are made in the Oliva factory. I like Olivas because they burn very evenly. They are always made well, and they just lead to a nice, pleasant smoke. Plus, they taste good.
All right. Over on Ko-Fi, Lena Michelik's North Starfish says, let's go. Individuals who might be black, we're still back. Yeah, thank you for that. Huge Ass says, the Virgin Focus Trip. I use a suppressed 12.5 IR, the Chad me. I blast 45 super from my USP at noises in the dark. 45 super, that is Chad.
okay,
Tyler.
Funny.
Tyler for 10 says, I know we're past the topic, but as a gun shop owner, I highly appreciate my trans customers. Not sure why they always beat the cheapest shotgun and ask me if I sell single buckshot shells, though. Oh,
I totally agree with Tyler.
I thought that was going to be like, oh, he's got a cut. No, he doesn't. No, it's a joke. All right, thank you, Tyler.
Why do some
That's
rangers don't like
sad.
a like single male like a range attendant?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, the one guy I know who worked at a range, yeah, they had somebody commit suicide there, and it's like, oh, that's awful. That's tragic. Amrai Boy for 5 says, Atlas Shrugged shows the issues with the ideas behind communism and libertarian view if read through the lens of morality based on Christian values.
Atlas Shrugged is not a good novel. I'm sorry to say.
It's
Apart
written
from
by a woman.
Well, yeah, there might be something there. Yeah, Ayn Rand is not a great novelist. She's also not a great philosopher. She gets money correct, but only in the anti-communist view. She doesn't. One thing you'll notice about Ayn Rand is there aren't any kids in the story. Like, it doesn't. It only works if everyone is an adult and basically behaves in sort of this ultimate libertarian rationalist fashion.
Well, Ayn Rand was a childless spinster, wasn't she?
I think so. Yeah. The other thing is, I mean, her book is way too long. It's filled with all of these extremely long speeches. I haven't read The Fountainhead. I've only read Atlas Shrugged, which is the longer of the two. It's filled with all these extremely long speeches. I listened to it on audio. I think the speech towards the end is like 3 hours long, and it's pretty stupid. And then what's hilarious and what really gets me is after the speech is over, all the other characters in the book are like, "That was the best speech I've ever heard," and it's like, okay, Ian, come on, stop patting yourself on the back here.
It was
pretty
actually
insufferable.
Really yeah. I thought that the movie might be a little bit better. I thought maybe they portrayed it slightly differently, or through a different lens, whatever. No, it sucked too.
No, I mean, so the movie sucks because it was really low budget. Like, I think the movie, if you want to know the story of Atlas Shrugged and you don't want to listen to a 60-hour audiobook or read the actual book, then just watch the 3 movies that were made by some libertarian funder. And every single movie, there's 3 of them, because it takes 3 to tell the whole story, but each time they entirely switch the cast because they couldn't get the same actors to come back for this repeat, and so there's 3 installments but entirely new cast every single time, and they progressively get lower budget as it continues. But if you just want to know the story in order to be able to speak about it in terms of pop culture, it's actually a pretty accurate representation. And they have to move it into like modern times, whereas the whole thing's actually said about 50 years ago. So that's a little bit awkward, but they find a way to kind of make that work. But overall, it's a pretty good scene for scene version of the book if you want to just kind of get the pop culture references.
Maybe that's what it was. The book just sucked so bad that the movie was atrocious.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Don Dogs for 2 says libertarians proving that Nazism is the only way. Well, I mean, I think there are multiple options. Thank you, Todd and Dog. Focus wife for 5 says me on a leash, loaded. Me off a leash, hot. Take that as you will, but ultimately it's a threat. That's why you stay in the basement on a chain that you can't bite through. We learned that lesson. Thank you, Anna. All right. Speaking of learning lessons, have you guys ever heard of Lev Tahor?
One more time.
Sorry.
Lev Tahor.
What did you just call me?
Sounds like Hebrew nonsense to me.
It's yeah, you could call it a bit of Hebrew nonsense. This was sent to me in the Discord as a topic for the stream, and it's interesting. I've never heard of this group before, but it is a ultra culty Orthodox Jewish sect that has been doing sketchy things since let me pull it up, since the 1980s. I want to say 1988. All right, so Colombian authorities have rescued 17 children from the Jewish Lev Tahor sect during a raid at a hotel amid allegations of child abuse, kidnapping, forced marriages, pregnancies, and child trafficking. These children were kidnapped from their families, suggesting a possible trafficking operation disguised as religious activities. So apparently they've been kicked out of Israel, 1988. United States, they operated till about 2000. Canada till 2013, Bosnia in 2022, Guatemala, and Mexico. And then most recently now in, this is Guatemala.
So is Lev Tahor a deranged cross-lingual pun? Like, is it supposed to sound like Love Tahor?
Lev Tahor, it means pure heart in Hebrew.
Based. So do their numbers of being kicked out of countries, do those count towards the total, or is this like a separate category?
Well, this is only a group of about 200 to 300 of them that have. This is a ultra Orthodox cult. This is not like Judaism writ large. This is writ large, but this is a specific cult.
Ben Shapiro for a comment on this.
No, not yet. Although I do have a clip of Ben Shapiro. It's 30 seconds long if you want to hear it. Israel, good. America, not so good. Let me pull up the audio on this.
Migración Colombia.
Is the Lev Tahor associated with the tunnel people?
I don't know if those two things are related. I don't know. No, I don't know that.
Migración Colombia lideró un operativo de verificación en un establecimiento hotelero del municipio de Yarumal, Antioquia, donde rescatamos 17 niños.
So specifically 17 foreign boys, girls, and adolescents. So they are not Guatemalan, but they were with this sect that was held up in a apartment complex or something. You can kind of see them
Esta
out here.
intervención
You can see the
se
adults
adelantó de
in
manera
the traditional
articulada con el
garb
apoyo
there.
del Gaula Militar Oriente. Durante la verificación se estableció la situación migratoria de 17 niños por posibles riesgos.
All right. So 5 of whom who had Interpol yellow notices for possible risks associated with the disappearance or human trafficking. So I'm just confused at how these people were allowed to operate freely for so long. So Lev Tahor, sorry, Pure Heart is a Jewish cult founded in Israel by Shlomo Hellbrands. Like, you could not get a more Jewish sounding name if you wanted to. Shlomo Hellbrands in 1988. It consists of about 200 to 300 members, according to Guatemalan authorities. Engage in child sexual abuse, pedophilia, rape. The group follows fundamentalist form of Jewish practice and adheres to atypical interpretations of Jewish law, including practices such as lengthy prayer sessions, arranged marriages between teenagers, and head-to-toe black coverings for girls, which you can see here. That looks Islamic to me. The Haredi Burqa sect is a community of Haredi Jews that ordains the full covering of a woman's entire body and face, including her eyes, for the preservation of modesty in public. Okay. So that's like an even more traditional Jewish sect. So that's even more conservative than like Islamic use of burqas. Interesting. So no slit. Not even the eyes. Not even the eyes.
Imagine these folks get extradited to Israel.
For girls and women beginning at the age of 3 years old. Wow. The group has faced accusations of kidnapping, sexual child abuse, and some of its members have been charged and convicted of related to other offenses. Lev Tahor is considered extreme and radical by many other Jewish groups. Yeah, you don't say. The group has moved frequently, being located in Israel from 1988 to 1990, the United States from 1990 to 2000, Israel again from 2000 to 2003, Canada from 2003 to 2013, Guatemala in 2013 after fleeing Canada, Mexico since 2017, and in late 2021 and 2022, they moved between several Eastern European and Balkan countries. In February 2022, they were present in North Macedonia after a short stay in Sarajevo in Bosnia, after already being deported from Romania, Turkey. When the Romanians are deporting you, you know you've done something wrong, okay? If they allow the gypsies to stay in Romania, but they're kicking you out, you got problems. So they got deported from Romania, Turkey, Albania, and Moldova. In late 2025, Colombian authorities rescued a number of minors from Lev Tahor members who had arrived in the country a month prior. They often move in an attempt to flee government child welfare agencies.
Yeah, the group's current leadership, his name is Nachman Hellbrands. He's currently sitting in jail for kidnapping and other charges from 2018.
Where? In what country?
New York.
Oh.
So they used to be based in New York City until a group of them were arrested and charged for kidnapping minors. Like, they had to flee New York.
So in 2017, Mexican media outlets reported that Hellbrands had drowned in a river while participating in a ritual immersion. So the original leader of it drowned accidentally in Mexico during a ritual immersion. And I'm not sure if they're additional baptisms or what this has to do with, but mikvah is a bath used for ritual immersion in Judaism to achieve ritual purity. So this is something that they do more than once. Headed to the south
stage. They could just use the chicken, right? Or do they not do chickens?
Yeah, so control of Lev Tahor was left in the hands of Hellbrand's son, Nachman, said to be more extreme than his father. Nachman Hellbrands and 4 other leaders of Lev Tahor were arrested in Mexico in December of 2018 in a joint operation between Interpol and the FBI. Members of Lev Tahor applied for political asylum in Iran?
Yes.
In 2018, and swore allegiances to the country's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Is Khamenei?
Yeah, Khamenei.
In November 2021, a group of about 70 members reached the Kurdistan region of Iraq in an attempt to make their way to Iran, but were detained by Iraqi officials and deported to Turkey. From there, they left for Bucharest, Romania. So they're trying to get to Iran for sanctuary. What a weird path. After Israel and Iran go to war for what are they calling? Are they calling that a war or a scuffle? I think that happened a couple months ago. Are they referring to that as an event, or is that just the latest?
What are you referring to?
I think it was just called Tuesday.
When they were attacking each other with missiles. Is there a name that they've given that event, that period of time?
That was called self-defense. It was Israel defending themselves.
well, okay, but there's not like a specific name for that 2-week period where they were bombing each other. No?
Operation Iron Yarmulke.
Okay. No, was that no? I think Netanyahu had some term for it. Operation Rising Eagle or Rising something or other, Rising Star, something like that. He had some name for it. On January 29, 2025, Interpol arrested Yal Alper in Guatemala outside a government center for the treatment of minors. The 35-year-old Israeli is purported to be a senior member of the cult. Alter is now the second cult member to be arrested in Central America in January. At the beginning of the month, Jonathan Emmanuel Pardono Castillo was on the run after being charged with child abuse, was also arrested. So my question in all of this is, if they've been kicked out of a half dozen countries at this point, why aren't they all arrested and the children identified and sent to either some sort of child protective services or to their original family members? Why are they still allowed to operate? Because, I mean, they left Israel to come to different places around the world, and then they got kicked out of those places. Surely at some point, somebody just says, actually, you guys are going to jail forever, and the kids are going back to their rightful parents or to child protective services, like, surely at some point, yes.
How did you find out about this? Like,
this was literally sent in the Discord.
Okay.
Well, exactly. I didn't see it either. It was just sent in the Discord for a possible stream topic. So and again, allegedly, this has been happening since like the 1988. The community claims to live within the boundaries of halakha and Jewish tradition, and asserts that their lifestyle is not new or unusual. All right. In Left Horde community, prayers are twice as long as is the norm among other Haredim. And adherents pronounce each word loudly, slowly, and with great emphasis. They have a strict diet that is based on the familiar laws of kashrut. However, their interpretation of these laws is much stricter, limiting certain foods that their Haredi peers allow. Most of their food, including their bread, is therefore homemade. The religious beliefs of the Left Horde include a rejection of Zionism, which this is true. So this is actually something that's really interesting. The most Orthodox Jews do not like that the state of Israel exists, because according to their interpretation of their holy scriptures, God will give them the land back. They should not go out and take it for their own. So they view the state of Israel as formed in 1948 as invalid, because it was them acting outside of God's will to take it back rather than for him to give it back to them. So they actually are anti-Zionist in that context, which is quite interesting.
Based? Maybe? I'm not sure how to feel about that.
It's interesting. The most Orthodox Jews are anti-Zionist in that way.
How do you parse out God's like primary and secondary causes like that? Right? I just don't even know what would a legitimate takeover of the Holy Land look like. Does it have to be a deed?
I'm not sure their exact reasoning, but I imagine they don't like the way that it was formed because it was essentially given to them by the British government and then some coercion and lies mixed in.
Yeah,
so
couldn't that just be God working through secondary causes?
That's what I would say, right? It's like, okay, well, God just chose to work this way.
It was formed through the actions of various like terrorist groups as well. You know, it's not a great history if you look back. Daryl Cooper did a good series on the history of Palestine.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pull up this.
It's a very, very rough and bloody history.
Okay, so I'm gonna look this up real fast. Why are
it's a little redundant? You could just say history.
Jews anti-Zionist? I'm actually curious now.
I am curious, Wubba Bubba, what is your opinion on this Jewish cult in Guatemala?
It's kind of odd that they can like set up shop really quickly. Like they get kicked out of multiple countries and they just set up a new headquarters really quick. It's kind of odd. It's really odd.
They're an industrious group of people. They're kind of like rats, They just once they get in, they multiply quick and they take over.
And they start building tunnels.
Lots of tunnels.
Well, yeah, they were in New York, so maybe there is actually a relation between them and the tunnel Jews.
Don't take this with a grain of salt. I shat through a prompt through ChatGPT. I said, "Is there any connection between the New York Orthodox Jews that I think did the tunnels?" They said, "Short answer, no." I don't know why they said short answer, no.
Okay, so yeah,
maybe
so
people from the Levant like making tunnels.
It's part of their history. It's part of their culture. Oh gosh, dang it! Don't miss a Jewish moment. Wow, what a great pop-up. Ultra-Orthodox and anti-Zionist. While most ultra-Orthodox Jews oppose Zionism in some way, groups like the Neturei Karta and the Satmar Hasidim do not recognize the modern state of Israel. Yeah, so these are ultra-Orthodox Jews who say Israel should not be here in the way that it is. The anti-Zionist worldview of the ultra-Orthodox groups, perceives Zionism and the establishment of the state of Israel as a anti-messianic act conceived and born from sin. These groups vigorously deny the very legitimacy of the collective political return to the Holy Land and to Jewish sovereignty. For them, this is the handiwork of humans violating the Jewish people's oaths of political quietism. In the words of the Midrash, as expended by Rashi, the people were adjured not to return collectively to the land of Israel by the exertion of physical force, nor to rebel against the nations of the world, nor to hasten the end. In short, they were required to wait for the heavenly, complete, miraculous, supernatural, and meta-historical redemption that is totally distinct from the realm of human endeavor. This, waiting for over 2 millennia, manifests the very essence and singularity of the Jewish people, expressing their faith in divine providence, in the assurance of the prophets, and in messianic destiny. So yeah, so they've used this.
Or here's a thought: Jesus.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can solve the last 2,000 years of this. So in their view, the modern state of Israel is a man-made, born out of deception and deceit creation that is not. So I guess they are literally waiting for Christ himself to come the first time in their view.
Jews waiting for the Messiah is like it's like crap, I'm blanking on his name. It's like the guy who it's like O.J. Simpson trying to find the real killers.
Yeah,
it's like he won't rest until he finds the real killers.
That's good. Yeah,
I will say, as much as it pains me, I agree with them. It is all of those things that they said.
They're right, but for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons. So is this the same population that was causing a lot of trouble for Netanyahu right before October 7th? They were trying to get him out of office, essentially.
I don't think ultra-Orthodox Jews are a big collection. I think they said it's less than 20% of all Jews, so it's a very small minority. But they might be part of that coalition that was anti-Netanyahu before October 7th.
I would imagine if they could rally the secular Jews in Israel, they could definitely make an impact. It's kind of like the far left, the whole party pandering to the far left that we saw in the United States. I think it's probably similar to that.
Yeah. Sorry, say that again. What are we talking about?
Say again, Jake.
There was a lot of groups organizing against Netanyahu pre-October 7th. They were really unhappy with him. Lots of huge protests. And I'm pretty sure these people were kind of leading that push against Netanyahu.
Okay.
And I think they kind of I want to say they kind of formed a coalition with the secular Jews in Israel, because it's you don't need a huge group of people to affect change like that, as we've seen with the left. Right, the left has totally pandered to the ultra left wing, population.
But did Vice really cover this? I mean, good for them for actually covering something that most people would stay away from, or at least have stayed away from if they have. Good for them. Yeah, so it continues on. So Left of Horror has been accused of its critics, including former members, estranged family and followers, and religious scholars and law enforcement officials. Yeah, some critics, law enforcement officials, of child abuse, brainwashing, drug use, and forced marriages of teenage girls to men as much as 20 years their senior. The group has been referred to as the Jewish Taliban by the Israeli Jewish and international press. Yeah, so I don't think this group is liked by anyone, but I don't get why they're even allowed to operate. That's the thing that I'm still confused about. Why hasn't the country just been like, you guys?
Well,
are
don't
done
say
now?
everyone. I think libertarians like them.
Libertarians like, actually, the state shouldn't
Karl
be
likes them.
interfering in their way of in their way of life. This is just heckin' anti-Semitism against this culture that's been around forever. It's enriching the local population.
It's very anti-Semitic for the state to enforce the age of consent.
Well, yeah, somebody says, wait, wasn't the Taliban always Jewish? Well, was it the Taliban or ISIS that was actually formed originally by Mossad agents? And
that was Hamas.
Well, was it both of them?
No,
there might be several of them that had been.
No, I think you're thinking of hummus.
What's the difference?
We supported Al Qaeda and formed the Taliban. The Mossad formed Hamas. So there's a difference there.
I think they still had a hand in ISIS as well.
Well, yeah,
a
but I
bit of
mean,
column A and
as
B,
much
all
like
right?
you can basically, I mean, our intelligence apparatus is basically synonymous with theirs at this point. Like we share information with them, and for better or worse, that's the situation we're in. So anything that we are doing, you can kind of assume that Israel's also involved, and vice versa.
There is a chain of cause and effect, and creating a vacuum will contribute to that chain as much as other things.
Well, speaking of cause and effect, last story for the night, or I think last story for the night. When you don't pay your workers for several months and you don't have capital to pay your suppliers or pay them what you owe them, you end up shutting down. So how's that for cause and effect? Now, we've covered Tacticon a bit. They got really famous for selling fake tourniquets. A little bit.
And then somehow you lost the debate with them, John. How did that happen?
Yeah, I lost at the moment, and there were certainly a bad hour of that. It was bad. It was bad. No, I don't. I don't have to defend my performance in that debate because I definitely, looking back, it was good that it happened. But in the long run, in the long run, things kind of panned out.
That's right. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bucky.
Oh, I was gonna say jumping the gun here, but could I just buy the same stuff from Temu and then they can have a warranty return process?
Well, the thing is, now Temu and AliExpress and Wish.com have better warranties and return processes because Tacticon Armament they're effectively DOA. They're not calling it yet. They're still holding on, but they're effectively dead. So earlier today or yesterday, warranties have been completely discontinued. Return request form. All products are unable to be returned. All sales final. No refunds. No returns on exchanges. Product registration is closed. Product registration is no longer available, and we are unable to accept new submissions. Now they are selling.
Bernie Sanders would be proud.
Yeah, no returns, no refunds. What's really funny though is they're selling these mystery meat boxes, and so it's $230 worth of value now for $97. Bundles may include the following: 2 universal holsters, 2 mounts, mag pouch, 2-point rifle sling, and belt. And so they are just boxing up whatever is left, and they are selling mystery bundles, just whatever it might be. Only 50 units available. 2 lucky people win a free level 3 backpack armor plate, which means that they have literally 2 of them left in stock. No returns, no warranties or exchanges. Coupons do not apply. So that means they are selling all of the rest of their inventory to raise $5,000 in cash.
And you can still buy stuff from an American warehouse from e-bike and it'd have better customer service.
Well, again, no returns, no warranty. You are buying $100 worth of something, and it says may include. We have no idea what actually will be in there. So this is on their websites to avoid. I placed an order last night, a bunch of steel targets, hangers, and a sling. Okay, 7 days later, still no shipping update. That being said, I do remember my first Tacticon order some years ago suddenly arrived with no shipping update email, so I'm hopeful. And then they continue on. This is another week later, says nope, not yet, still holding out hope. So 2 weeks, no shipping update. This is from another individual. I canceled my 2A Pro subscription, which was their Hustlers University for the 2A market. I canceled my 2A Pro subscription, and they tried to draw this month's payments 10 days after I canceled.
Wait, I didn't quite hear you. Hustlers University, subscription to Hustlers University, or Hustlers a magazine?
Hustlers University, Andrew Tate's get rich quick scheme business model. I think it's called Suckers University, and they rebranded to Hustlers University or something like that. Very on the nose. But so apparently they're trying to charge all of their Pro 2A members. Well, so the guys are canceling their credit cards so that they don't get charged for this stuff. They keep trying to draw, or I'll push back with my credit card company. This is the same guy. I'll give it a couple more days, and then I'll cancel, or then I'll contact support. And then this guy responds, I'm pretty sure they only have one guy who's actually working there right now, so I don't think you're going to be getting any help. Yeah, support, last I heard, is literally one human. I wish you luck, but I would urge you to look into other options. And yeah, it just appears to be over. And this is what happens when you have a bunch of employees. You stop paying a bunch of employees. You put down a lot of money for a lot of like down payments on materials and whatnot for their armor business, which I get it. Trump slump, stuff slowed down, but that was really bad investing at the worst time imaginable. And while I feel bad in a sense for any sort of failed small business, because you gave it your best shot, all that sort of stuff, you still can't not pay people and have them come in, and then have some of these people were 100 days late. Some of these people that reached out to me dipped into their savings. They took their savings account down to zero because you told them you were going to make it right and you were going to right the ship, and you never ended up doing it. So now at this point, like, Tacticon basically has to die. It should go away. You failed. Don't come back to the industry. I wish you and your family well, and you luck in your other endeavors, but yeah, it needs to go away for all the people that you hurt in the process.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I mean, literally, Mr. Rushing, I do feel bad. Like, I run a one-man show business, and at times it's not fun, at times it's difficult, but I still have to make it right to the people who supported me and to the people who buy my wares, right? It's not always a fun process, so I totally get that. It's like when I lost thousands of dollars because people were filing fraudulent chargebacks. I still couldn't, I lost a bunch of money, guys, so I can't afford to ship you your products. It's like, no, that doesn't work. I still have to get the people that ordered their products. It does sucks. I have sympathy for things going wrong, for a bad economy, of course. But
and the Trump slump is real.
It is. It is 100% real. At least until the midterms. At least until the midterm.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, I'm just prepping right now.
That reminds me, John, that upper I ordered from you, I'm gonna have to charge back my card. I just don't really like it very much.
Bro, you have a secondhand upper, dog. You have a secondhand barrel from
It's
Josh.
literally just a barrel, and I love it. It's great.
Good. You better, because it's Roscoe.
It's the best barrel ever. Roscoe mug moment.
Dude,
in Mug We Trust.
I don't do this, but it would be very funny whenever somebody has a problem. I just give them the email of whatever company parts that I used instead of my own. I just forward it to them.
Send them the suicide hotline for the customer service number.
That's not nice, Richard. That's quite mean, in fact.
There was an old. Did you guys ever watch or read the comic strip Foxtrot?
No.
Well, there was an old
Foxtrot.
Yeah,
that sounds
I grew up
super
with it.
familiar, bro.
It was a good comic strip back in the day, but it might still be running. I have no idea. Foxtrot and Calvin and Hobbes is kind of what I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a Foxtrot strip where the dad,
Mm-hmm.
the dad was really interested in this get rich quick scheme, and he purchased the product for $50, and he's waiting in the mail, and it finally comes, and it's an envelope, and he pulls out this plan, and it says, find 20,000 suckers to buy your product for $50 a piece. It's like, oh man, there you go, $1 million. Yeah,
Really
it's
easy.
a great show. Calvin and Hobbes is still the best, though. Foxtrot was fun because it was a little bit more.
I do remember getting Foxtrot back
recent,
in the day.
But
yeah. All right, gentlemen. Who should we start with? Wubba Bubba, thank you for putting up with us and giving your time to the panel, sir. What do you want to shout out before we get out of here, sir? YouTube channel, specific videos. What do you got coming out?
Just nothing in particular. I'm working behind the scenes with maybe a couple more bigger collaborations with, I think, I'm not gonna spoil it, but other than that, not really shout out. If you want to watch my shit, watch my shit. If you don't, that's fine. Thank you for not kicking me out when I fucking stumbled through that first question. I should have.
Yeah, it's a rough start, but that's all right. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, that was a rough start. So yeah, hopefully next time I have a little bit more to contribute. I suggest more Reddit topics. Wink, wink. But other than that, thank you for having me on. If I come on again, I come on again. But it's great to get out of your comfort zone and try and do something a bit different.
Oh yeah, doing stuff live is a little bit different, especially with people you've never talked to before. So it can be quite fun. Appreciate you. I put his channel in the live chat. Go ahead and click on it, subscribe, make fun of him in his latest video. Call him gay. I'm sure he'll love that. Jake, what do you got going on, homie?
I don't have much going on. I'm glad I could hang out for a little bit tonight. I do have Galatians 2, verse 20. I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. So that's my message for tonight. Christ is king. Go to church. Don't be gay.
Thank you, Jake. As soon as you said that, Richard changed it to the pedo Tito bear pair, which would have been on brand Richard. For the last discussion about the Tav Havor, the Lav Tavor, the Lev Tahor. That's the one. Yeah, that would have been on brand for that one. Bucky, what do you got going on, homie?
Oh, so I released the latest video on domestic adversary paramilitaries and how a lot of civilian prepper groups out there or tactical gun channels say that Red Dawn is a bigger problem. I strongly disagree. Working on hand-drawn art assets for videos, and I'm working on a video for this particular topic of the Wired article and how Wired is journalistic slop and it should not be trusted with firearms information.
100%.
Another thing I'd like to shout out to would be Legionnaire Apparel. They have great sportswear.
Oh yeah, let me pull that up.
Based.
James, what do you got going on, sir?
Yeah, so a couple things. I mean, go check out Compulsive Gun Buyer. It's my YouTube channel. I haven't posted in a long time. I am going to be posting in the near future. Before the end of the year, I've got a interview that I did with Brass Facts and Hop on thermals. That should be good. It's about a 2-hour interview. Covered a lot of ground, and I think kind of a nice summation of some of their learnings as well as my own from just our messing around with various thermal devices of all different budgets. So that should be good. We are also going to be doing some SHOT Show coverage this coming January, so we'll be doing some posting in the near future. And then, yeah, go check out the Redoubt show that I do with John and Christian, who's also featured on the Brass Facts channel. That's a good time. We talk about theology and other fun stuff. And then finally, I run a company called Meteorite Concepts. We make pivot adapters, which allow you to get that swivel functionality that you get from a Surefire Pro flashlight. You get that for all of your retro lights, all of your scout pattern lights that just have the regular 2 holes. You can all of a sudden, you can pivot and swivel those into position, which is pretty cool. And we make some cool grips as well. So meteoriteconcepts.com. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. And we literally just did a 2-hour show before this. And that was the Redoubt show, which I showed on screen for a second. I'll see if I can grab the link for that real fast. If you guys want to check it out, I put Meteorite Concepts, the link in there. I have a couple of the items. Now, full disclosure, he did send them to me, so I might be a little biased. You know, we've been talking for about a year or so. So keep that in mind. Richard, what do you got going on, homie?
Tomorrow I've got a video coming out about Karl and his Troon army.
Woohoo! I
More
love
along the
Troon
lines
armies.
of the same stuff. But I just dropped a link for the video that went come out today. The Sons of Liberty Gunworks awarded the SOCOM contract. So if you guys would go over and give that a watch and a like and thumbs up and comment, it really helps us out. And really appreciate it.
Heck yeah. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I'm gonna burn through these real fast. Appreciate all the support, hanging out with us gents with all these
one thing
wacky topics. No, Bucky, you can't. Nope.
The latest art ass that I
nope,
made for the video.
Nope. Bucky. No, I'm just kidding. I pull it up. Oh, Bucky, by the way, I am gonna commission you and Poop Dynamics to do some artwork for an upcoming video of mine. I'll put you guys in a group chat. This is very nice. Scan for hand-drawn graphics from behind the scenes of the Red Dawn Boogeyman for one of the latest videos. Traditional ink, fountain pen, pencil, Red Dawn United Nations American Stabilization Mission. Very good. Very cute. You mean that's not AI slop? I see that everywhere, bro.
Crazy.
Polly B for 2 says, left a whore going for the 109 record in the Pokédex. Yeah, they're speed running, getting kicked out at different places. Moonman for 5 says, no idea what we are talking about, but I would, of course, have whoever we are talking past tense with their kids. Whoa, all right. Moonman comes into the bar and shoots everybody and says, what are we talking about? Thank you, Moonman. Amrai Boy for 2 says, we don't share information, they steal it. Example F-35. Listen, all right. Israeli spies have been known to do a little bit of information warfare and, do a little bit of thievery from time to time, but who hasn't? I mean, really. It's not as if our hands are clean in that either. Amrite Boy for 2 says, Richard, Tito Bear. Oh, that's why he put it on there. Also, that's Tito Bear, which I don't want to know what a Tito Bear is. I know Tito Pear with a bear. Thank you, Amrite Boy. And Hugh Jazz for 5 says, a boat is a boat, but the box could be anything. It could even be a boat. I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but I really appreciate that, Hugh Jazz. Thank you very much. And with all of that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. We will see you in the next one. God bless.